The Book of Exodus, a story that echoes through time. It's a tale of redemption, a testament to God's power, and a love letter to his children. It reminds us that God sees our suffering, he hears our cries, and he fights for us always. The Israelites, God's chosen people, were enslaved in Egypt. They cried out to God in their misery. He heard their plea and raised up a leader, Moses, to deliver them from bondage. This is their journey, a journey not just to a promised land, but to a deeper understanding of God's unwavering faithfulness. Exodus is our story too. We all face moments of despair, times when we feel trapped and hopeless. But Exodus reminds us that no matter how dire our circumstances, God is with us. He is our deliverer, our hope, and our guide. He is the God of the impossible, making a way where there seems to be none. This is the story of the Exodus, a journey that continues to resonate with every heart seeking freedom and searching for God. Moses, a Hebrew baby, was miraculously saved from death by Pharaoh's daughter. He grew up in the Egyptian palace, unaware of his true heritage. And Moses was learned in all the wisdom of the Egyptians, and was mighty in words and in deeds. But God had a plan for Moses. He appeared to Moses in a burning bush, and the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed. God spoke, I have surely seen the affliction of my people which are in Egypt, and have heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters, for I know their sorrows. God chose Moses, the unlikely hero, to lead his people out of slavery. Despite his initial reluctance, Moses, empowered by God, stood before Pharaoh, demanding, "Let my people go, that they may serve me." This was the start of a mighty confrontation, a clash between a defiant king and the God of the universe. Pharaoh's heart hardened. He refused to release the Israelites. God, in his righteous judgment, sent 10 plagues upon Egypt. Each plague demonstrated God's awesome power over creation. Water turned to blood, frogs swarmed the land, and the Lord spake unto Moses, Say unto Aaron, Stretch out thy rod, and smite the dust of the land, that it may become lice throughout all the land of Egypt. Lice, flies, pestilence, boils, hail, locusts, and darkness covered the land. The final plague, the death of the firstborn, shook Pharaoh to his core, and it came to pass that at midnight the Lord smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on his throne unto the firstborn of the captive that was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of cattle. Finally, Pharaoh relented. Broken and grieving, he allowed the Israelites to leave Egypt. The Israelites, led by a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night, journeyed towards the Red Sea. And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud to lead them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light, to go by day and night. Pharaoh, however, had a change of heart. He pursued the fleeing Israelites with his army. The Israelites, trapped between the sea and the approaching Egyptians, were terrified. And the Egyptians pursued and went in after them to the midst of the sea, even all Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. But Moses, filled with God's power, stretched out his hand over the sea. And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. The waters parted, creating a dry path for the Israelites to cross. Once they were safe on the other side, the waters crashed down upon the pursuing Egyptians, and the waters returned, and covered the chariots, and the horsemen, and all the host of Pharaoh that came into the sea after them. There remained not so much as one of them. The Egyptians were no more. The Israelites, witnessing this awe-inspiring display of God's power, trembled in reverence and fear. They had witnessed the hand of God, their deliverer. They were free. Their hearts filled with gratitude, the Israelites journeyed to Mount Sinai. There, amidst thunder and lightning, God descended onto the mountain. And Mount Sinai was altogether on a smoke, because the Lord descended upon it in fire, and the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mount quaked greatly. Exodus 19:18. God spoke to Moses, establishing a covenant with his chosen people. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. Exodus 19:5. He gave them the 10 Commandments, the foundation of their new life and their relationship with him. These commandments, etched in stone, were not a burden but a blessing, a guide to living a life pleasing to God. They were a testament to His love, His desire to protect and guide His people into a life of righteousness and blessing. The Exodus story, however, is not just about the past, it's about the present and the future. It's a reminder that God is still in the business of setting captives free. He hears the cries of His people, and He is faithful to deliver us from our own Egypts. Life in the desert was harsh and unforgiving. The Israelites, used to the abundance of Egypt, grumbled against Moses. They longed for the food they had left behind, and the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. Exodus 16:2. God, in His infinite mercy, provided for them. He rained down manna from heaven, bread like flakes that sustained them. And when the dew that lay was gone up, behold, upon the face of the wilderness there lay a small round thing, as small as the hoarfrost on the ground. Exodus 16:14. He also provided quail in the evening, giving them meat for their hunger. This daily provision was a tangible reminder of God's faithfulness. It taught them to depend on Him, to trust that He would provide for their needs. It was a lesson in faith, a lesson that God is always with us, even in the barren wildernesses of our lives. The story of the manna is not just a historical account, it's a timeless truth. God is still in the business of providing for His children. He may not always provide in the way we expect, but He will always provide what we need when we need it. While Moses was on Mount Sinai receiving God's law, the Israelites grew impatient. They forgot God's deliverance and His promises. They demanded that Aaron, Moses' brother, make them a god to worship. And when the people saw that Moses delayed to come down out of the mount, the people gathered themselves together unto Aaron, and said unto him, Up, make us gods, which shall go before us. For as for this Moses, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we wot not what is become of him. Exodus 32:1. Aaron, giving in to their demands, fashioned a golden calf from their jewelry. The Israelites offered sacrifices to the idol, turning their backs on the one true God. They fell into idolatry, a sin that broke God's heart. This act of disobedience had dire consequences. God's anger burned against them. Moses, descending from the mountain, was heartbroken and enraged by what he saw. He smashed the stone tablets, representing the covenant, and confronted the people about their sin. This story serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of faith and the constant temptation to turn away from God. It highlights the dangers of idolatry, of placing anything or anyone before God in our lives. Despite their sin, God, in His infinite mercy, forgave the Israelites. Moses, interceding on their behalf, pleaded with God to spare them. And Moses returned unto the Lord and said, Oh, this people have sinned a great sin, and have made them gods of gold. Exodus 32:31. God, moved by Moses' plea and His own compassion, renewed His covenant with them. He gave Moses a new set of stone tablets inscribing His law once again. This act of grace demonstrated God's unwavering faithfulness, even when His people faltered. The Israelites, humbled by their sin and God's forgiveness, repented and recommitted themselves to following Him. They learned a valuable lesson about the gravity of idolatry and the boundless grace of God. This story offers hope and encouragement to us today. It reminds us that no matter how far we stray from God, He is always ready to forgive and restore us when we turn back to Him with a repentant heart. His love is relentless, and His grace knows no bounds. The Exodus story doesn't end with the Israelites at Mount Sinai. It's a journey that continues today. Just as God delivered the Israelites from physical slavery, He desires to free us from the bondage of sin and fear. The Exodus is a picture of our own salvation through Jesus Christ. He is our Passover lamb, His blood shed to set us free from the penalty of sin. He is our pillar of cloud and fire, guiding and protecting us on our journey. As we face our own Red Seas and wildernesses, let us remember the God of the Exodus. He is the God of miracles, the God who parts waters, provides manna, and forgives sins. He is the God who never leaves us nor forsakes us. The Exodus is more than a historical event. It's a timeless message of hope, deliverance, and God's unwavering love for His people. It's a journey that continues, calling us to follow our deliverer, to walk in freedom, and to live in the fullness of His promises.